Hi everybody, today we have Amy Esper, owner of Methodical Organizing and Moving, and she provides an amazing service that our customers can certainly benefit from as it relates to just general organization of rooms or garages, all the way up to packing up entire houses or helping to just declutter and kind of rearrange things and even sometimes enlist some help to redecorate a touch. So, I think it's a service that a lot of people can really benefit from. And without further ado, hope you enjoyed this conversation with Amy Esper.
Welcome to the Preferred Shore podcast. Here's your host, Robert Milligan.
Well, Amy, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today.
Thanks for having me, Robert.
Of course. Well, I know that you're working on some really exciting things, and there's some people who don't know you, maybe more people in town who do know you, but for those who don't, maybe tell us a bit about yourself and how you've arrived on this entrepreneurial path.
Sure. Amy Esper. I started as a lawyer, actually, back in 2001 in New York City. And I was a labor and employment lawyer for about 11 years before arriving in Sarasota. I started practicing here for a while, and then the children came. And I found it extremely difficult to balance 3 kids and a legal career.
That's understandable.
Right. So I was looking for another outlet for my skills. And I'd always been an extremely detailed person, very organized, and I decided to start an organizing and move management company about 5 years ago.
That's fantastic. And the name of that business?
Methodical Organizing and Moving.
Fantastic. So, of course, we're a real estate company, and we have people moving and needing things organized all the time. So maybe if you can kind of go into some more detail of some of the customers and some of their, scenarios that you get involved in to help people out.
Sure. I'm happy to report that most of our referral sources are realtors, interior designers, some people from word of mouth, which is awesome as well. We're always looking to get our name out there and let people know that we're sort of a dichotomous business. We have the organizing side, which obviously can be for whole houses, one room, storage unit, whatever you have, an office, we'll do office spaces.
Okay.
And then the second part of our business, and increasingly a larger portion of our business, is the move management side, which is we get bids for people for moves. We organize it. We almost exclusively step into the shoes of the person so they don't have to deal at all with their move.
Wow.
And we organize vendors. We have a list of tried and true vendors that we use. I'll organize art installation while myself and my assistants unpack and make it a truly turnkey experience for the client.
That sounds fantastic to not have to think about your own move.
I use them. I use my girls when I move. So yeah, it's amazing.
Well, I mean, for our side of the equation, yours as well, moving is oftentimes the most stressful experience that a person, it's one of the most stressful things a person experiences while in their life. And anything that you can do to mitigate some of that stress is amazing. So, I'd be curious to know a little bit more about, what scope of projects. I know you mentioned even single rooms on up to, it sounds like just walking away from a move and giving you the keys and kind of taking over. So, what would be some like smaller projects and maybe like the fee structure and how customers can think about that?
Sure. We're an hourly based business. We don't make money any other way besides if we're actively working on your behalf, either at the job site or obviously calling. A lot of times we do buy items for clients after we make a procurement list for them, and so that would be time at home. But most of our time is spent on the job site actually making your house perfect for when you arrive. We style it as well, unpack, and then also we declutter for realtors, ahead of a listing.
Okay.
So that actually adds a lot of value. We found that our listings on our declutterings really add a lot of value for the realtor and get the listing sold more quickly.
Yes, I would definitely agree because, sometimes when there's just so much going on inside a house and there's just stuff everywhere, the customers coming through, they can't even see the house. They're just kind of looking at all this stuff and trying to figure out who this person is and where they've gone on vacation and, all the knickknacks and all that sort of thing. So definitely agree.
Right. And I feel like what we try to advocate for myself and the clients and with my assistants is a culture of non-judgment.
Yes.
Because a lot of people are embarrassed that they've kept something or they have too much of something, and we let them know, like, everyone has an area of clutter in their lives. Everyone, even I do.
Right.
Everyone has a certain thing or a certain group of things that they don't want to get rid of, and it's hard. And so we sort of talk them through that. There's no judgment. We always tell people there's no mess that's too big for us.
Okay.
We come in and we tackle it, and we do it without judgment, and we do it with smiles on our faces because we so enjoy watching the stress melt away from our clients' faces when it's a beautiful environment that then makes them in turn a lot less stressful to walk into.
Right, right. So I'm sure that there's times maybe that someone has clutter, so to speak, that is still somewhat valuable. How do you handle those sorts of things when somebody just wants to kind of walk away and have less stuff, but there's some value to that stuff? Do you get involved in helping, like, I guess, what would it be, like an estate sale or things along those lines? Or
We do. Generally, what I found is I've learned a lot about stamps and art and things that I knew nothing about before I started this business. But what I do is I facilitate third-party vendor sales. So I have a list of antique vendors and art vendors and stamp vendors and vendors that I know have expertise in the area, because obviously I'm not going to be an expert in all of those various fields. But what I do is farm it out and get people a price, and they can take it or leave it. It's obviously their prerogative, but I like to offer them an option, particularly if they have something they feel like they've held on to for a long time. It has value, but they're ready to let go.
That makes good sense. Yeah, that would be a relief. I mean, I can think of things in my own attic right now that, it's like, I can't get rid of this, but it's somewhat valuable. And
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And what I love about our business too is that we're not just a clearinghouse. We do look at every item. I mean, it doesn't take forever. We're efficient about it, but we never toss or disregard anything. If we think it's of value, we try to have the homeowner look at it and be as involved as they want to be during the decluttering process.
Got it.
They don't feel disenfranchised and sort of nervous about what we're doing.
Right, right. So, so tell us a little bit more maybe about, I guess where the idea of the business came from. Have you always been like a hyper-organized person, or is your home like a disaster?
Oh gosh, that's hilarious that you say that. So I can remember as early as my mother was a borderline perfectionist, and I certainly have a pretty rabid strain of obsessive compulsive disorder. But I try not to annoy other people with it, but I do with family members. I'll go into their homes, and I have done this as early as I think high school years, and just started arranging things. My brothers were older.
Okay.
So I would go into their homes, they'd be like, Aim, where are my keys? I mean, like I can't find this. And I'd say, well, I put them where they're supposed to be, in the junk drawer or in a logical space.
Everything should have a spot.
Right. We want people to have, that's the thing, we want to create systems for people so they're not losing their keys and losing their mind and not knowing where their kids' homework is, or where this particular thing is that they use almost on a daily basis.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I can certainly relate to that, because if I actually keep a pretty neat and tidy workspace, and if one little thing's out of place, it's just like a downhill spiral for the rest of the day if I can't find something. So, so I definitely appreciate that. And you mentioned that a lot of your customer referrals have been from realtors. So, yeah, I mean, maybe are there any like stories that come to mind that you're at liberty to share of exceptional projects that you've been working on recently? Or
I would say in general, when we finish our jobs and we get to sort of reveal to the clients what the space looks like, and then the feedback that I get makes me the most proud. I can't think of any projects in particular, but I almost always step back and say, wow, we just did that in 2.5 days.
Yeah.
Something that would take people weeks or months to do,
Right.
to either clean out or unpack, and it looks great. Like I said, we have our art installer come, the art's where it should be, with as much input or as little input as the clients want. Sometimes
Right.
they don't want to deal with it, but the details, I feel like, are just amazing.
Yeah, well, and I'm trying to get a proper sense of this because it seems to me like decluttering kind of is underserving the actual, the word itself is underserving what you actually do. So
Right.
you actually do help people acquire new pieces of furniture and art and things when appropriate to kind of pull a room together, or
We do.
Yeah. Okay.
And I listen to them. I come and I measure spaces, and I can put them in touch with. We're not an interior design service, so I want to
Right.
be careful not to step into that space. But what we do is containers. I measure spaces for drawers, inserts for containers, for the layout of a pantry, especially people a lot of
Okay.
times want their kitchens to be better organized. And a lot of times you don't need to buy a lot, but a little bit goes a long way, especially in terms of organizing those rooms that you use every day, like an office or a kitchen. So we'll put together, after we measure, what I call a procurement list. And
Okay.
if we can install it ourselves, we do. If not, if we need to drill or anything, we use our resident handyman to help us out, and we get everything in a perfect position, get our label maker ready. And
Yeah.
no, it's definitely a full-scale process.
Yeah, so
But
it's not just like decluttering.
no,
It's,
we
yeah,
don't
yeah.
just clear things out, which is more of like a clearinghouse service. It's definitely detail oriented, like I said, and it's trying to figure out the best spot for it. We have donation sources that we use that are free. I also have other people that'll come pick things up, and we try to sell what we can. If
Okay.
it's saleable, I'm going to try to get you money to discount or to offset my bill, which
Sure.
is my goal for
Oh,
people.
that's
and
amazing.
I think that's what sort of sets us apart, is that we're willing to do a full scale decluttering, for lack
Yeah.
of a better word.
Yeah, and that's incredible if you can kind of cover some of the expense with the proceeds of some of the items that you're getting rid of. That's incredible.
Yeah, we've always had luck, and I can't believe some things. I'm like, I can't believe I sold that. But I mean, there's a market for almost everything if you put
Yes.
it out there. And I belong to various groups. Like I said, I have various vendors, so there's always going to be a buyer for almost everything.
Yeah. Do you occasionally work with and collaborate with some designers to acquire pieces, or?
I recommend. There's a lot of great designers in Sarasota
Sure.
that refer me business, because a lot of times before they can get in and do the beautiful things, I have to come in and sort through some things and get the space a little more neat and tidy. And that's not really what they do. And like I
Right.
said, I don't do what they do. So I like to do the containing.
Okay.
And I like to let them beautify.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
How about aside from local moves, do you help people kind of pack for cross-country moves and that sort of
Yeah,
thing?
we don't ourselves do the packing,
Right,
but
right.
like I said, we hire the vendors, which we have an amazing moving company here in Sarasota that I always recommend, that stands behind their brand,
Okay.
and that makes things as seamless as possible.
Are you
And
able to throw a name out there who you like?
Yeah, I work almost exclusively with Yarnall
Okay.
Warehouse and Moving, and they have salaried employees, they have vacation time, and I feel like they've been around for a lot of their employees have been around for numbers of years. They really know what they're doing. They're efficient, and I've seen them pack some of the most incredible art, amazing sculptures, and I know on the other end when I'm unpacking it that it's going to be okay. And that's
Yeah.
obviously a big deal, because like you said, moving is one of the most stressful things a person can do, and the stress of having their things damaged is not something I want to have happen.
Right, yeah. So I'm just curious, for someone that's seeing this and says, this sounds absolutely fantastic. I would love to, if they're a realtor, recommend this to my customer, or maybe somebody who needs your service. What would be like a way to think about, the price ranges, depending on the size and scope of projects? Where do you kind of start at and go up
Yeah.
to, just out of curiosity?
Sure. Well, what I like to do is tell people we like to work in 4-hour increments at least.
Okay.
And it could just be with one organizer. Some people, like I said, want to be very involved. They don't feel comfortable with a lot of people in their space, and we are in their space. So we'll send one person out. It's pretty minimal invoice at the end of the day, and maybe you get the room pretty tidied up for yourself and you're happy with it. Other full-scale moving projects, are going to take more bodies to unpack, but I can always go to a home free for a consultation and give them a very accurate range for an estimate, which
Okay.
I've never been outside of before
Yeah,
in my
great.
many years, and let them know this is what you're getting into, but this is also before and afters of your space. I have a lot of examples to show clients what we can accomplish for them and the burden that we can sort of lift from their plates.
Yeah.
Because people a lot of people aren't good at what we're good at, and I think it's a lot of times I think you need to know what you're good at, stay in your lane, and then farm out like I do for my home projects that I'm not good at,
Right.
farm out to the professionals.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, I'd be curious to maybe take a step back and just kind of learn a little bit more about you, and
Okay.
maybe as you've just curious if you've always intended to be an entrepreneur, or how you think about business and maybe the team that you've built and all this
Sure.
kind of thing.
Oh, interesting. Well, being a lawyer, I think, is you always think in terms of working for a firm or working for a corporation, which is what I did in New York. And I feel like I did love the work because I could help my clients, but there was a little bit missing for me. I wasn't extremely passionate about it like I am.
What type of law was it?
It was labor and employment.
Okay.
So I worked as on the defense side for employers
I see.
that were being targeted for different various lawsuits. I worked in litigation primarily. So, you do have to work personally calming down the managers, because next to your family, I feel like your work family is your next push button, sort of. You're there all day.
Right. Sometimes
things
we're
get
with
tense.
our work family more than our actual family,
Right. So even though I worked in-house, I felt like I had captive clients, and I really, you become good at keeping calm and letting people know, hey, this is what we're going to do. And I feel like I've used that a lot in my business when people get very tense when they're moving, and it's only normal.
Right.
But those in litigation's tense. I think I have used that bit of my calm demeanor to sort of lay out methodically, if you will,
Right.
what we're going to do, how we're going to accomplish it, and that, listen, little things are going to crop up, but
Yeah.
we'll take care of it.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
you can trust us to, at the end, you're going to be happy, and even though you might be pulling your hair out because you're moving, we're going to make it okay.
Yeah. And then you've got some little ones at home still too, which I'm always in admiration of, entrepreneurs and moms that can balance and juggle the kid life and business and everything else. Do you have any tips for anybody else that's in your type of a position?
Well, I do think I think organization is the key to your success as a mom and in work, and that's why I love helping people get there and systematize. We've never had a repeat customer that wasn't a mover. We've never had a repeat organization, which tells me that the systems we're setting up are working for our clients. And I think that honestly, with the homework, with multiple kids, with the sports, with everything, you have to have that calendar, you have to be organized, you have to know where your things are, you have to make your kids accountable.
Yes.
I think that's a big deal. I think they come in the house, they put their shoes away, they put their backpack away. As little as 4, they can start to do all these things.
Yeah.
My kids make their beds in the morning. I mean, I run a tight ship. I'm not too much of a drill sergeant, but at the same time, I feel like I'm teaching them the skill set they need for a successful life and a successful career. Yeah.
And what are their ages again?
I have 8
Okay.
and currently 6 and 6, but soon to be 7 and 6. The last 2 are Irish twins.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've definitely got a lot going on at home, and obviously running your business now as well. So I'm sure that as we're filming this, I guess school's started fairly recently. I'm sure that's helped a little bit.
Yeah, it does. It does. Although I have them in camps all summer long because I think they love the structure.
Right. Yeah. So and was there any other in between, like entrepreneurial pursuits between being in law and then starting your business that you're operating currently?
No, I'm not that old, Robert.
I'm not saying that. I'm just curious. Yeah.
No,
well, most entrepreneurs, they have to do a few things to figure it out.
I feel like my husband and I always talk about our ideas and try to think outside the box. My father was an entrepreneur.
Okay.
He owned a nationwide security business, so he's obviously an inspirational figure. I think he gave me the gift of sales a little bit.
Absolutely.
He got a lot of clients just by being, trustworthy, but being able to talk to people and sort of let them know a little bit about him. And then he sustained a client list for many years until he sold his company and retired here in this gorgeous area, which brought us here from New York, actually.
Right. And how long have you been residents in the area here?
We moved in 2012.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. And from what I can gather, because I know your husband as well, and you guys seem like you're enjoying life and,
We love it.
fishing.
We
and
love it.
yeah.
Oh yeah, we fish, right? You see my boys down on the dock fishing all the time.
Yeah.
And I like puzzles when I'm stressed out and I come home from a hard day of work. I don't want to talk to anyone. I do my puzzle.
Interesting.
Yeah, right? I mean, it's my thing. And I feel like our life here is always evolving. I love the families we've met. I can't say enough about my assistants either. They're all working moms as well.
Oh, wow.
They're all detail oriented as well, and they all have kids in school. And so I feel like we get our clients, how busy they are, how
Sure.
stressed they are, what they've gone through with their kids in a day. And we try to melt in the background when we're working in their homes.
Yeah. So maybe if you're able to share a little bit more how your team's composed, like how many people and how you think about who specializes in what. And
Yeah, for sure. We have three. I have 3 assistants now,
Okay.
which it's not even fair to call them assistants. They're trained fully. They know all my processes and my quirks and how, they sometimes say to me, do we have to do that? And they look at me and they're like, I know, Amy, we have to do it perfectly. We have to do it. But Beth loves paper. So we do a lot of filing and files and shredding and things for certain people. She loves working with paper.
That's a skill.
Yeah, I would say Kim is my Bob the Builder handyman. A lot of times when we go through a house with a realtor that's about to list, they say, hey, can you do this? Can you do this? And I'm like, Kim can do that. She can figure that out, so we'll move things around for them when we're staging, and she can take apart anything and put it back together, which
Fantastic.
is invaluable.
Yeah.
We call her Bob the Builder. And
They call me that too, but for the opposite reason, because I'd screw everything up that I try to fix.
That's hilarious. I'm pretty much the same. When I talked about staying in your lane, I've gotten handier from this job, obviously, but big scale, large scale building of anything, not my thing.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna give that to the experts or Kim, as it were. And then we have Mandy. She is a newer employee, but she's fantastic. She jumps right in, the best attitude. I feel like they all do. I think she really enjoys when she gets asked interior design questions from clients. She's like, I think I would put that there and this. So we enjoy it, whether we're in a garage in the middle of August,
Sounds
getting dirty.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, I know. I told them when I hired them, I said, now I know you've seen these organizational shows online where they're labeling these cutesy bins and doing,
Right.
it's actually very hard work a lot of times.
I'm
And
sure.
they've all been amazing and they dive in no matter what it is.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, I know we are certainly delighted to have the possibility of having you help us with customers and things, and that will definitely help give us, provide better service to our customers. So it's a real gift and a service that I'm sure many people are definitely appreciating. So what would be the best way to have somebody reach out to maybe get a bid or learn more about your service? How's the best way to reach you?
I am so hands-on that I give out my cell routinely.
Okay.
My cell phone is probably the best
Okay.
way to reach me. But obviously we have a website, methodicalmoving.com.
Okay.
And they can reach me on email. I will respond as soon as I get it. I have a New York mentality with my work ethic, and I don't wait till the next business day.
Yeah, yeah.
So they'll get a response from me. We'll get something on the calendar. I love helping people in this way. So
Yeah, fantastic. Is there anything else that we hadn't covered that maybe we should? Any other things that you provide to customers or things that are possible? Or
I feel like we
summed it all up?
We summed it all up. Yeah, we did a good job.
Great. Well, congratulations on all your success. And again, we're really happy to be working with you and have this possibility available for our customers. I think it's a service that is a true need that's in the market to be filled. And again, really happy to hear things are going so well. And we'll keep in touch and send our customers to you. All right.
Sounds fantastic.
All right. Well, thanks
for
for joining us. Yeah, and thank you all for joining us. And we'll see you all again soon. Bye, everyone.